Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Welcome to another live lesson by Lady Khadija radiallahu anha online college. A-level maths, year 2, pure maths. And we're looking at chapter 7, if you're following through in the A-level Pearson Excel book on trig identities. So far we've gone through we've gone through all of them, but now we need to pick the right one to be able to solve an equation or a problem. Bismillah, let's begin. We are looking at a pair of equations. X equals 3 sine theta, y equals 3 take away 4 cos 2 theta. And our job is to try and eliminate theta so that we end up with an equation for y and just x. So y in terms of x, meaning that we'll just have y equals something in terms of x only and no theta. So let's take a look at this before we go into it too much. We just need to be able to look for clues which will tell us which identity to use. So Bismillah, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. First thing you notice is that one of the equations has got sine theta, and the other one has got cos 2 theta. So as soon as you see that one of them's got a double angle formula in there, the cos 2 theta, then you need to start thinking of your double angle formulas. With cos 2 theta, there's 3 of them. So now, which of the 3 you pick is going to be, you can have there'll be a big clue from the other one. So looking at the first one, you've got a sine theta in there. So you really want to pick the cos 2 theta that's formula that's got a sine in there. So let's just go through them quickly. We've got the first cos 2 theta formula. If you remember, can you think of it? It was cos squared minus sine squared. So that's got a sine in it, but the problem is it's also got cos in it as well. So we don't want that one. With these kind of questions, you can't rule it out completely because it could be that the one you think is going to work doesn't actually work, so you have to come back to all of them again and pick another one. But let's go with what it looks like. It looks like we need a sine theta, and that one had too much. It had cos and a sine. The next one we learned was cos 2 theta is equal to 2 cos squared theta minus 1. That one doesn't look like it's going to work because it doesn't have sine in it at all. So let's cross that one out. And that means the one we really want to pick is the third one, which is, can you remember the third one? Cos 2 theta is equal to 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. So that's the most promising one because it's got sine theta which matches this sine theta. So let's put it in. Let's take a copy of that second equation. We've got y equals 3 minus 4 cos 2 theta. Let's take everything onto the other side except the cos 2 theta. That will make it easier to substitute. So we can take the 3 across. Probably easier to take the minus 4 cos 2 theta across first to make it a positive. But instead, I'm just going to multiply everything by minus 1. So minus y is equal to minus 3 plus 4 cos 2 theta. Just making the cos 2 theta part positive. That way it'll be easier to rearrange. So now the minus 3 can come over. That'll be a plus 3. So the minus 3 can come over. and that will be a plus 3. Then I can get rid of this plus here. That doesn't, there's nothing to plus, so that can go. And then I can divide by 4. So I can take the 4 over as well. That's a times 4, so that's going to become a divide 4. And just bring it closer to the equal sign and center it in the middle. Okay, so this minus y plus 3, it's probably easier to put that the other way. So the 3 can go first, 3 minus y. It's just a little bit nicer to look at and read. The other one was correct as well. Good, so now I've got cos 2 theta on its own, so that means I can replace that. Anything which is cos 2 theta can be replaced by 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. Okay, good. So now a bit more rearranging. Let's just make ourselves a bit of room. And we just want to rearrange this now so that we've got so we just want to rearrange this now so we've got the minus 2 sine squared theta at least as a positive. So it's a bit hard to work with when it's a negative. So let's take the minus, let's do it a different way now. Let's do minus 2 sine squared theta can come to the other side as a plus. And that's a plus in between here. I can get rid of the plus at the beginning. That's not necessary anymore. And then we can take the fraction 3 minus y over 4 to the other side. That'll become a minus. Okay, looking good. So that was all work on the second equation because we wanted the second equation not to have the cos in there, but we wanted a sine in there. So we've got the sine in there. That's fantastic. So now we can use the first equation. The first equation says x is equal to 3 sine theta. So if I just rearrange that for sine theta, I can then substitute it to get rid of the sine theta here. So let's take that next to that first equation, which is x equals 3 sine theta. Just a little bit of rearranging to make sure that just the sine theta is there. So I can take the 3 to the other side. That's all I need to do. So now I've got sine theta is equal to x over 3. Now you're probably looking at that and thinking, well, that's sine theta, whereas in the equation I had sine squared theta. So let's correct that. Remember that sine squared theta just means sine theta squared. So I can replace that for 2 times, and in brackets, sine theta squared. That's all sine squared theta means. It just means sine theta squared, and the 2 stays at the front. So that can go here. And now what I've got is a straight swap, straight substitution for your sine theta. In this equation, wherever I see sine theta, I can replace that with x over 3. So x over 3 can go in the bracket here. Let me try that again. So x over 3 can go in the bracket here. And that's pretty good because now I've got completely eliminated the theta, and I've only got y's and x's, and the only other thing now is to try and get y on its own. So let's do that. So first thing is I want to take this, here's the y, but it's in the middle of a fraction and it's also got a minus before it. So let's change that minus. Let's bring that whole fraction across to the other side, and that will become a plus. Can you guess what to do next? I want the y on its own, so let's get rid of what is easy to get rid of. So let's move this to the other side. That's going to become a minus now. The plus here at the beginning we can get rid of. The divide by 4 we can get rid of by timesing everything by 4. So let's times everything by 4. So that will mean the 1 will become 1 times 4, which is 4, and the 2 will become 8 because 2 times 4 is 8. So everything gets times by 4. I've got the 1, that will become just 4. And then I've got 2 times x over 3 squared. I only need to times one of these by the 4. I don't need to times everything by 4, just one of them will do because it's something times something, so then only one of them needs to be times by 4. So timesing by 4, the 2 will then times by 4 to get 8. So that's everything times by 4, so I can remove that. And now I've got the 3 can go on to the other side, so I can subtract, so that will become a minus 3 on the other side. There's already a 4 here, so the 4 minus 3, that'll just become 1. I can combine them. 4 and the minus 3 will just become 1. And then I just need to change the sign of everything. So the minus y will become a positive y. The positive 1 will become a negative 1. And the negative 8 times x over 3 squared will become a positive. Let's swap so that the positive starts and the negative can go at the end. And I can get rid of that and get rid of this. And that's your final answer. You can expand this out if you wanted to, but there's no need. You can leave it like that. That's fine as well. Okay, that was quite a long process, but it was just the bit at the beginning that you needed to be comfortable with. So let's just go and remind ourselves what we did. Cos 2 theta, we thought of all the cos 2 theta formulas. We picked the one that had a sine in it, so a sine theta in it, and so that was the 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. And then to make it easier to do that substitution, we rearranged this so that you had cos 2 theta on its own. And then more rearranging followed with the first equation so that we got sine theta on its own, and then we could substitute into the sine squared theta here. Remembering that sine squared theta is really sine theta squared. So then the x over 3 went in, and then just rearrange so that you get y on its own, times everything by 4, take everything across, and then change the signs. Okay, join me again for tomorrow for more on trig double angle formulas. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace be with you and the mercy and blessings of God.